Hello, and thanks for taking the time to watch our tutorial series on eCar Charging Suite today. The video today is to help you to integrate own functions into the TIA project. When setting up the TIA project, we made sure that the whole thing was modular. This means that functions should be easily expandable. Today I will walk you through the structure and design of the program so that you can too add your own functions. Let's start with the TIA project. To understand the structure and setup, today we will go through the old familiar TIA project from the last videos. As always, we first open the program block. Go to the Core Functions folder and find the DB ECC data. We open it and now we have our central data point here. So if we want to extend functions or access our connector, we always have to go through this data point. How exactly that is done, I will show you later. For now, I'll show you some of the data in the connector. To do this, we open it, select the first connector, and look at the connector state. Here, we now have all the information related to the connector state. First, the state in which the connector is currently, then the state in which the connector used to be, and the state to which the connector will jump later. There is also information about the authorization, for example. We have it here. We already addressed and displayed some of this information in our watch and force table. Now it may well be that some information is still missing in the connector to add my new function. I will now show you how I can add new information, i.e. new variables, to the connector. To do this, we open or enlarge the data type and now see here that the connector is of the type Charge Connector. So if I want to add information, I need to customize the type Charge Connector. We look at Go to Definition here, and the type Charge Connector will open. In the type Charge Connector, there are some other data types. If I don't like these data types or I have a variable that doesn't fit into any of these categories, I can add a new variable here. For now, I will call this one Test. Now, however, we still have to say which type it is. But we haven't created a new type yet. To create a new type, we go down to the UDTs, the user-defined data types. Those are here. And I add a new type. I'm going to call this one Type Test for now. I also assign the test values here. Then I go back to the Type Charge Connector and change this type to Type Test. To update my connector, I now have to go to Program Blocks, Compile and Rebuild All. Now all the information in the controller is updated again and the new type is added. This may take a few minutes again. Now that I know how to adjust my data structure, it is still important to know how to build my function block so that it stays modular and does not affect the other blocks. To do this, we go to Add New Block, take a function block with language SCL, name it ECC Test for example, and press OK. Now my function block is created and opened, and in order to be able to access all variables of my connector, I assign an in and out value. I call this connector, for example, and it is of the type Charge Connector. We remember that in ECC data, this was already the type of the charge connector arrays. So now I can completely access this in and out in my block without influencing the other blocks. This looks like here, for example, that I say connector, point, authorization, point, auth accepted. That would be the variable that tells me whether a user is logged in or not. What I do with it is up to the programmer, i.e. you. This is where your new function will be created. To continue, I will delete the first line and leave the block empty for now. We still want to work with the station in our new function. We do the same as with the connector. This time we assign an in and out value of the type charge station. We can check the whole thing again by going into the ECC data and looking at the station and the associated data type charge station. Now I will show you how to call the already new FB. For this, I have to go back to the ECC test. Now I see that the function I built is always built for one connector. However, most functions apply to multiple connectors. That means we have to make it so that the instance called exists multiple times. To do this, we insert a block, again an FB. We call it ECC test and enter OK. Now we need a static variable. We call it inst ECC tests, for example. This is then of the data type array 0, 2, number of connectors. And then not the data type bool, but of the data type ECC test. Press Enter, and we have now created an instance here that exists x times, i.e. x times number of connectors. Furthermore, we need a count variable. This is the temp instance counter of the data type int. If I want to call the whole thing now, I make a for loop. For temp instance counter equals 1 to number of connectors do. Then I enter my instance again, inst ECC test, because the whole thing should be called, but several times. That's why I need the brackets, and here I enter my counter variable again. Then I open the brackets, and now I see my in and outs. I now select them and assign them to the memory point in ECC data, point charge connectors. Again, I have to specify the exact charge connector that is occupied by the temp instance counter. After that, I make a comma and can now add the station. Again, I can take the ECC data. I now copy it once, edit, remove the dot again so that I get the auto-completion, and select the station. This only exists once, so I don't need a counter here. Then close the parenthesis and a semicolon and an AND 4. For now, I have made the call for my new function. It only needs to be stored in the main OB. To do this, we go into the main OB, select the ECC tests, and can insert it in the back using drag and drop. Before we enter OK, we have to change our name. For example, to inst test. And then enter OK. Now there is a space between. And we have now finished our call for our new function here. We learned a lot about our essential data structure, which is located in the ECC data block. We know how to build individual functions and call them via our other program block and our call in the main. And we also know how to extend our type charge connector. These are the important points for integrating your own functions into our eCar Charging Suite and by this tailoring the eCar Charging Suite to your individual needs. As you can see, everything is easy to do and relatively quick to keep track of. I hope I was able to help you again and wish you a good day. Thank you for watching the video. See you next time.